Hello, folks. How's it going? Howard, what's going on? Mario, what's up? Everybody else that's there, if you can give a shout out, drop your name, and I'll give a shout out. Mr. Makuk, what's going on, sir? If you guys are hearing me good, let me know. It's hard when you're traveling and trying to get all this stuff organized and get it together. To be honest with you, like this evening was a touch and go, trying to decide if I should do it or not based on my schedule. And real world is back, right? We're all over the place these days, and it gets harder to coordinate and to do iGoat chat, but we're here. We're gonna try to do our best. Who else is here? Vivian, what's going on? Big up. Welcome. Remember to share the link as much as possible. If you guys can do that for me. And I got the lovely, beautiful Trudy in the background tonight. So there she is holding down things as the producer. And let's give her a round of applause. I got some gadgets. I'm trying to step up my game. I don't know if you guys would appreciate these little extra things, but we're trying over here, trying to step up the things. Yeah, I got new toys. That's just for my own little enjoyment. But yeah, let me know if all's good. Trudy's impressed with my toys. Lick a shot for that one. I'll play with it and figure it out and see how the best to use it. How it applies. I won't overdo it. But it's nice to keep yourself amused and motivated by adding these little things to what we do. Ricky said things turn up. Yes, I are. I don't know. Well, tonight I've tried to get it together to figure out what we're gonna do tonight. And excuse me, Trudy suggests that I actually talk about the visit to that dairy farm. If you guys have seen the videos that I've been posting on Facebook and YouTube, Mr. Makuk and I visited this farm and got a lot of information. And yeah, Howard, you got to come through. Let us know when Howard's gonna come visit the farm. It's great. Looking forward to seeing you. You've been with us forever, and it'd be great to put a face to the name. So you're welcome. You know it, go. Yeah, so we went to this farm, visited this farm. We actually went to a goat symposium and then went and visit the farm, and it was just mind blowing, as you can see from the video. It was ridiculously impressive. It's like, as you them say, goals, everything you see, you're like, yo, this is the level I want to be operating at. So I figured I will have a little discussion with on this farm with you guys, like talk about the things we saw, operation stuff, the animals, how they go about doing what they do, and the efficiency of the farm. There's so much stuff in that video that he talked about. His name is Lloyd Wicks of Grass Hill Farms, and it's a farm I've known about for a very long time. I knew they sent animals to Trinidad, and I know they've dealt with people in Jamaica. You can see the first video, he shout out Dr. Young and a bunch of people from Jamaica. So he's very familiar with the region, Jamaica, specifically Trinidad. He knows all the thing go. So we had a long visit with him, go through everything. And I just wanted to touch on some things that struck me, that registered with me, and I'm sure registered Peter too. How the farms operated, how they started, what their goals are, what their objectives are, and how they execute. Number one thing that I observed and listened to Lloyd speak was his conviction and commitment from the beginning in establishing what he wanted to do. I had a conversation with you guys a couple weeks ago or more about starting the farm, and not exactly starting the farm on the right foot, like listening to other people tell us what we should do instead of what we really wanted to do. And there's a part in the video where he told us that his daughter got a goat and he wanted to breed the goat, but then he couldn't find a buck suitable for what he wanted to get. So he went out and buy the animals he wanted. Well, we don't have that luxury in Jamaica to just go buy 20 goats like the goats what we really want. But what I took from it was his conviction. He committed to establishing a goat farm based on his criteria, based on what he envisioned. And he got 20 females or something like that, 21 females, something like that, and a buck. And then he closed the herd. He closed it. He didn't want nothing more. He decided he's going to build out from there. And now he's over, I guess, 18 years later. He's consistently at about 1,000 goats. And he sells them in bundles, in bulks, like 100, 200 goats at a time as satellite herds, or nucleus herd, he calls it. So now I think about what we did, and it wasn't anything close to that. We didn't really we tried to take that approach, but it didn't work because, one, we couldn't get 10 milking animals, much more 20. And then after talking to people that are already on the ground doing what they do, the advice we got was start with what's available, breed up, etc., etc. However, that process is so long that where we're at now, we should have just stuck to our guns. And if it's even 10 of what we want, we'll be further along, I think, in production. So that was one thing that struck me, that was like, man, sticking to your conviction, sticking to your gut is a big deal. It is a big deal, especially if you have a vision and you want to stick to that vision. So if you're here listening and you're looking to start or you're looking to scale up, take that in consideration. I've said it before, and that video just confirms that's the way to go. Do not compromise on your vision. Do not compromise on what your ultimate goal is, because it only slows you down or it sets you back. And then the next thing that I took away, another thing I took away, was his persistence in improving the herd. He always looks to improve the herd. Data collection, DNA testing, all of that. Every step of the way, he looks to improve on milk production, the quality of animals, everything. He collects the data, record keeping, and he looks to improve on what he has year over year, and he doesn't compromise on it. He doesn't use a buck in his herd unless it's proven that that buck will give him what he wants. So that's another area where, for us, we've been doing that. However, let's hold and address some comments. Anthony says, if you're being honest with you, weren't breeding up in the direction of developing a milk herd from the beginning. You would have had to use sires from big producing lines and never deviate. All right, let's address that. One, Anthony, you're right. However, the reason we didn't do it was because we didn't have a proven Nubian buck that's going to give us the milk. The buck we had, there was no records or proof that he was throwing high milk yield animals. There was no evidence of it. You know, we were just told so. And then the mothers we have, we bought, still no records of that. We had to breed them and start to look at them and see who's producing enough milk and all that stuff. And there's a part of the video where Lloyd told us that you can't improve or any of that unless you have the quality animals. Because if you have hybrid animals, the genes keeps mutating over time, every generation, and you can't collect records on that to improve because it's faulty. So that just tells me that we were on an hamster wheel as far as improving, because we don't know what our nucleus herd was producing. We don't know what the genetic pool is. So you're right, and on that level, but that was the reason we didn't target breeding up for that, because we didn't have the animals we figure would give us the results. Okay, so yeah, the improving year after year thing was for him of utmost importance, because he knew where he wanted to get to, and the only way he could get there was do not compromise on the quality that you put in the herd, whether it's from the mothers or the side. Well, he closed the herd, And he does some AI, but whatever AI he does is from proven bucks that are producing milk, like highly selected semen that he knows gonna give him the result he wants. He never brought another buck on the farm. He injected it via artificial insemination. So with hearing him say that, it's like, for me, it was an eye opener to say a lot of what we're doing in Jamaica, it's like being on an hamster wheel, because the records are not there. At any given moment, you could go backwards, because something will come up in an offspring or a whole group of offsprings that set you back, because it's not consistent. You don't have purebreds. You know, your animals are not proven. All of them, the genetic pool is all over the place. So with that said, in Jamaica, we need to think about what are our objectives. For the people who are breeders, have to take the approach similar to what Lloyd Wicks does: only inject proven genetics into your herd. You know, it's been said over and over in Jamaica that all the goats are related, especially the hybrids, all of them that people are selling, full blood, purebred, hybrid, related in some way, because the pool is so small, right? Now, if you close the herd and only inject proven semen in there, then you're going to be improving year after year. But if you're going to go to the next side of the country and buy a buck and think you're improving, there's no records or nothing to say you're improving, because there's only a selective few people who had these animals originally, and they sell them to everybody across the country. Whether it's 5 years ago, 15 years ago, it's the same. The source is the same. You know, like everybody in here who's familiar with the Jamaica goat industry, honestly, they know there's like 5 or 6 people that imported animals or got live imported animals, etc., etc. It's been proven. So when Lloyd told us that he closed his herd and he only did AI with proven semen from proven animals, and then when he uses bucks from his herd selected from mothers that are, one, high yielders, and two, which I think is amazing, is that they milk for a very long time, these mothers. He's talking about 1,000 days straight, and he will only keep bucks on his farm from that group of females. And he doesn't collect semen from a buck on his farm until that buck has proven that the buck is throwing the same high yielding genes. And you can hear he said it on the video that he will only collect semen from a buck if that buck has proven that they throw the same thing. You know, so when I look at our operation at Cabo Ranch, as serious as we are, and as much as we try. I've said it to Trudy, I've said it to my friends. I've told Peter and I talk a lot, and that term I use all the time is like, feel like we're on a hamster wheel. We're not getting the results we should be getting. And visiting his farm just let me know that it's really important to think about the approach we take and be diligent and be serious, and don't stray away from your conviction because somebody who's said they're in the business a long time tells you to try something else, or advise you to, oh no man, go do that man, try this, buy some hybrid and breed up and whatever. It's not gonna work. Well, it all depends on your expectations, to be honest. Our expectation is way up here. We went into this with great expectations, and we're gonna realize these goals because of how we go about our business. My objective is not to just be stagnant and don't see the improvement. And you think about this, we're like 2.5 years, almost 3 years in, and I come to this realization earlier this year. Didn't take me long to figure it out. Didn't take me long at all. After going over the records, going over the data we've collected over the 2 years, didn't take me long to figure out this is not what we want. Especially after we started the milk program. Didn't take me long to figure it out. I'm like, this is not what we want. It's not moving us in a positive direction. The needle is moving too slow in that direction that we want to go. Because one, we need to improve on our milk production, like increase the amount of milk we get. And we need to improve on the quality of animals that we have. And that process is too slow. We're not breeders. We just want our animals to meet certain expectations. And the pace that we see improvements, it's going to take us too long. We'll go bankrupt. We'll go bankrupt if we stay on this. We have the ability to change it. And that's what we intend to do. And I'm telling you guys, as the iGoat family, that if you're in the business, are you trying to get in the business, stick to your gut. If you're in it for meat, then, you have to think about what kind of meat you want to produce. More meat to bone ratio, that means your goat meat is better than the rest. Quality meat. Not, some native bony goat. You want, when you sell your clients your meat, they should be blown away. The quality of the meat. How do you get that? Do your research, figure it out. What kind of animals you need to have to produce that. So I'm saying, yes, Anthony. That's my point right there. You make my point. I'll tell you, Joe came about, all those original females. Okay, let me read Anthony's note here. He says, good point. Still, I would probably stick to the breed that are known for milk production. Yes. Even though Joe was dropping excellent meat producers, he was dropping bones, not so much milk. Exactly. We were given advice that if we're starting, we should just start with hybrid animals, etc., regardless of what our original intent was. Nobody said, hey, yo, don't go that way if it's milk you want. Do not go down that road if it's milk you want. You know, if somebody had told us that, if I got the advice from that Lloyd gave me today recently, if I had that advice when we're starting, then it would be a different ballgame. But we were thinking about first, we couldn't find the animals we really wanted. And then somebody said, people just say, yo, just get hybrid animals, graded animals, and breed up from there. However, in order to breed up from there, you got to get a buck that's going to really do the work. It's going to do the job. Nobody have record of, and the bucks that you go to a farm and you see some females with massive udders and whatever. They're not selling you the buck that does that, and you can't get the females. So, you buy some Nubians, then breed out the milking out of the Nubians. So it's not really productive. It's not working. So yeah, we have to shift focus on how we go about meeting our goals. And then so back to Lloyd and that conversation we had. We had a long conversation about genetics and DNA research and always looking for things they can improve on in any breed of animals. In Jamaica, we don't have that kind of process going on. However, we have access to the results of those research and those experiments and those case studies. And when I say we have access, is the door is opening for importation of quality semen. It's been open for a while. And then we have now the door is open, animals are being imported on a larger scale, which is a great thing. So we can actually, with the will and the discipline and execution, any one of us can meet that. It may be a little more expensive for us or time consuming for us being on an island, but it's doable. One thing I learned from Lloyd is that it's doable. He did it with 20 goats. He built out a whole 1,000 to 1,000 animals from 20 goats, and he told us how to do it. There's a difference between really somebody like Lloyd and a lot of the people we deal with in our circle. He actually laid out for us. And he was very cheeky with it. He's like, as big man and businessman, I'm going to tell you this. This is how it works. He said, one, yeah, Peter, it's all in the video. He said one is you have to get healthy animals, and those animals need to live to like 10 years. Two, those animals need to be bred and held like high conception rate. Those animals need to have 2+ kids every kidding season. So you should be averaging, have high percentage kidding season. Keep your mortality rate down. He told us, he gave us the blueprint. He says, you do those things and your herd will triple, double, if not triple, in 2 to 3 years. He didn't hold back. He told us exactly how we did it. You go and watch video number 2. Peter said it right here. Video number 2. He told us, as businessman, he told us that those are the steps. Those are the things you got to keep in mind. Those are the things you got to ensure is happening on your farm. Goats need to have healthy life, live a long life, up to 10 years. They should have high conception rate. They should have high percentage kidding rate. Kidding rate should be up there. 2+ kids per mother. And with that mortality rate, keep mortality rate down, and you will see success. On top of always injecting improved genetics. Do not go backwards. Pay attention. Keep records. See what the animals are doing. So I'm telling everybody here that here's a man that has all the experience, all the success, and he gave us almost 3 hours of his time. If you watch the video, he was even making fun of us because knowing we had to leave, we had to drive back to Toronto. He was making fun of us, but we could have had a lot more time with him. But he was laying it out, all of it, and letting us know that, look, you do these things, you will see success. And when we went and looked at the milking parlor, he told us he started with a small milker, then he went up to a milker to milk 12 goats. Then he was using that to milk over 120 goats before he put in that massive parlor. So he stuck to what his plan was, and he was diligent and very, very committed to what his objectives were. And he got there. And he didn't hide anything from us. He showed us everything. He doesn't even keep anymore. Animals he's trying to get out of his herd. Anything that's not milking for more than 200 days, he wants them out. You think about an animal that's milking for 1,000+ days straight. That's over 3 years of constant milking. I can't even fathom that. Now, in Jamaica, what are we looking at? Are we using the animals? Are we in the goat business for show, or are we in the goat business for real production? Is the look of animals more important to us than what the animals can do for our operation. That's a question I ask. I ask my friends, I ask myself. Yeah. And thanks. You see, I know the people here who watch the videos and the ones who haven't watched it, I suggest you go watch the videos because there's so much information in there. Howard is saying, I was amazed at how precise his body score measurement were. Yeah. And that's based on his data collection. He knows what body score maximizes his production. He knows what he gets from certain body score. Everything is precise. There's no guessing. Everything is based on records. Everything is based on the data he's collected over the years. How many of us are doing that? How many of us are actually doing a breeding cycle or whatever based on data we've collected for the last 2 years? Or even the previous breeding season? How many of us are doing that? I know at Carver Ranch, that's the first questions we ask. The body conditioning of the animal, what the last kid looked like, who was the sire, what was the birth weight. Yeah, we just know like certain goats on our farm, certain females on our farm will not go to Rico again. Some will not go to Samson again because the results just not there based on birth weight, weaning weight. You know, we have the records to prove it. You know, Trudy be here. Trudy's right here. She can tell you. It's the first question I ask every time a goat is in heat. It's the first question I ask. Who's her kid? Who was the sire? Because we're not repeating failures. And if the female produce some amazing kids being with Samson, she's going back to Samson. You know, and Cruz will tell me, he's like, yo, should try Appleton because Appleton did X amount with those females over there, and look at that kid is Appleton's kid. Maybe we should try Appleton on her to see the result because she throw good kids and Appleton also throw good kids. Conversation we have based on records, based on the record we collect. Grouping breeding groups is the same thing. Samson is a Boer buck, full blood Boer buck or purebred Boer buck, whatever Jamaica is using today. He does an amazing job with meat animals, like throwing quality meat, hybrid meat animals. Samson is not the problem. The problem we have is Rico. Rico is an amazing Nubian buck, but there's no records. I don't even know, to be honest. I can't say Samson. I can't say that about him because I don't know what our females gene pool is. They're all hybrid animals. And the few Nubians we have, they don't give us the milk we anticipated they would. So I can't look at Rico and say, oh, Rico is not doing the job because I honestly don't know the gene pool of the females. You know, I had Mr. Farron come and look at Rico, which is the Nubian buck, Mr. Fern said, yeah, this is a beautiful, amazing book. And he is from the American milk line. So Mr. Fern is an authority on this stuff. He says that. But I have no faith in the females. They're not proving to me that they can predict that. They're definitely not milk animals. So I can't expect too much. My expectation is to get what 3 of those animals are giving me, 1 goat should give it to me. That's how I see it. So we have to shift focus. As Lloyd said, stick to your guts. Make decisions based on what your vision is, what your objectives are. Yeah, Mario, I know what the problem is. I know exactly what the problem is. Issue is the I can't find the solution to my problem as things are in Jamaica. I can't go out and buy 10 females that have records to prove that they're milk producers and they'll throw milk producers. And the mothers that I see with my own eyes that are producing a lot of milk, I cannot get females from those farmers. Mario said the gate fly. Yes, the gate really fly. It fly. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it fly, but we know that, things seems to be closer to being standardized when it comes to import. Normalized, standardized. It seemed that way at this point. And I would love to know that it stays that way so farmers can improve on what they want to do. To be honest, I think that people who are in the business who are serious about it, I'm talking about the hobby farmers, people who are really serious about it. This is really good for us because then we can really focus on getting the genetics we require to execute our business plan. Gigi is saying, can't you import some from America? I'll import them from wherever them is, really. The first goal is to get a permit in your hand. That is the first objective. So now we'll see where that goes. I'll tell you this much, that we're definitely gonna do what we need to do to improve on what we're trying to do at Cabra Ranch. And I am really, what's the word? I'm encouraged by the latest developments. What TJ and his group did, the case thing, what they did was a step forward. What the 200 goats that came in, that's a step in the right direction. Now, if those 2 entities did things above the table, right, as we should assume because the animals are here, and everything goes well, there shouldn't be any reason for other farmers not to do it. There's a precedent that's set right now that would allow other farmers to go ahead, get the animals they require to make their business successful. because that whole small ruminants improvement program, you see, if they serious about doing that, just make the process standardized, normalize, and let people just do what they do. And you'll be amazed how fast the small ruminants sector is improved. You will see how fast it improves. If you know that there is a set process and you go through it, just like how you go buy a car, license your car or whatever you do, and you know what the result's gonna be as long as you pay your your money for your permits or your this or your that, you know what the end result's gonna be. If that's where we are with importation of small ruminants, then you'll see how fast the numbers grow. And you'll see how much success farmers will be having, whether it's in meat, breeding, or dairy. I know for us, if we have the ability to do what Lloyd says, we're golden. We are golden if we can do what he said. If we could find a nucleus herd, import a nucleus herd, close that out, and only inject quality genetics in there, we're good. We are on our way to success. And the next level is injecting quality genetics in the form of AI would be laparoscopic. We're not doing the same old, we shouldn't be doing the cervical process anymore. We should go laparoscopic where we're getting 70+% success rate. Welcome to the latecomers, Kevin. Will we thank you guys for joining us. I think if you're importing that kind of quality animals for your business, and the only way to improve really is, highly selected bucks and artificial insemination. Now we can't stay with the current process. We have to step up the game and go to laparoscopic where we're getting higher success rate from it. I believe that's the way to go. I know I'm straying, I'm all over the place on different things, but for the latecomers, we're talking about our visit to the dairy farm, Grasshill Dairy Farms, and doing a deep dive into the videos and the takeaways from our long conversation with Mr. Lloyd Wicks of Grasshill Farms. Another thing that struck me was the way the farm is set up. And this one is kind of, it's hard to really put it, like, compare it to what we're doing in Jamaica because of resources. However, if you watch the video, you see that there's only 2 people really working in the farm. They have, the way they're set up, they got machinery to do the heavy lifting. They have a lot of land to produce their own hay, etc. And it's just 2 people managing the whole process, his daughter and her husband. He's like the decision maker, and he helps out where he can, but it's those two that are running the farm. He has equipment, a front loader, little front loader. You guys saw it in the video. That thing is used for hay feeding. It's used for cleaning out the barn. And know that he has that massive parlor, everything is automated. Yeah, the daughter was driving the front loader. So to me, if there's a lot of big players coming into goat business in Jamaica, and they need to visit or go on YouTube, whatever, and watch the videos and watch these guys set up. Because I know labor is cheap in Jamaica, but in order for things, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, in order for things to be efficient, productive, you need to have things be very, very streamlined. You need as much help when it comes to equipment, and the less people you have in the direct relations to the animals, in dealing with the animals, the less chance of problems. So the way that farm works is just the two people. They know exactly what needs to be done. You don't have a lot of people around doing unnecessary things. They have the equipment, they have the resources, animals are fed in a timely manner. The barn is cleaned in a timely manner. Milking and cleaning up the parlor is done in a timely manner because of automation. Even take the parlor to the question, because that's a lot of money. But setting up a barn in a way that you can feed the animals efficiently, clean it efficiently. These are the things that I don't see being taken into consideration with building these big farms in Jamaica. You're gonna get up to 1,000 animals, you need the ability to feed them in a timely manner. It can't take you all day. So you have to figure out, how does the farm set up so the animals can be fed in a timely manner, like not, all day. So you need equipment, and you need a feed source. So whether it's land or access to the feed, hay, grass, whatever, you need access to it. Whether you have your own land or you buy directly from somebody who produces it. Mario says, the hay play a major important factor in feed his goats? Yep. He has alfalfa acres, 100 acres, 70 acres, 70 acres of alfalfa. And when we were there, he was on his second cut. He has a whole barn stacked with alfalfa hay. If you guys watch a video, it'll tell you at the end of the goat barn, there's another barn that's stacked with alfalfa hay. So we're talking about improving goat production in Jamaica and all that. But what level are we talking about? So let me explain this. Kevin says, I also noticed that the goat were on the ground. Yes. I'm going to explain to you guys. I'm sure the likes of TJ or whoever is in here who have more experience and more traveled on these things. Because here TJ said he went to the farm back in 2015. These big farms in overseas, in the US, Canada, a lot of them have hundreds, if not thousands, of acres of land. And they plant corn, they plant hay, where it's alfalfa or whatever it is to make hay. So what they do is when they harvest the corn, the straws from the corn, they bale the straws from the corn and they use that as bedding. So at a grass hill farm, the floor of the barn is concrete. They put a layer of straw down. And then I think twice a week, they put a new layer down. And that thing will build up thick. And they clear it out 3 times a year or 4 times a year. They try to let it stay over the winter because it's warmer, because it compacts and all that straw and thing creates heat for the animals. And then in the spring or close to the spring, they'll clean it out. But let's say they clean it out in the fall, September, October, whatever, they'll build it up until a thaw in January, February. And then they build it up again. So the problem in Jamaica is we don't have access to that. We don't have access to that much straw. You know what I mean? That's byproduct of a crop that the corn itself is what makes the money. The straw is just a byproduct that they'll sell for cheap. And the guys who have livestock like sheep and goats and stuff, they just keep a certain amount of that straw, bale it use it for bedding for their animals. Yeah, you know. Here Carlton is saying, yeah, straw from wheat, oats, barley, corn, yeah. So that's what they use. So the animals on concrete, but the constant layer of straw keeps it sanitary. And then they just use a front loader and clear it out right back down to the concrete and put a fresh layer on and keep building it up. When we were there, I think the thickness of the bedding was about a foot. Peter, correct me if I'm wrong. You can see it on the video. So that's another thing where in Jamaica, we have to think about the resources that we have available to us. Terrence says overgrown grass and overgrown grass can be used, or leftover grass can be used. But that has to be dried, TJ. You can't put wet grass and them things in there. You create a problem. Kevin, where the poop ends, so here it works. The poop goes in the straw. The pee gets soaked up in that straw. That's why they put a fresh bedding twice a week. A fresh layer of straw twice a week. It gets soaked up. Jamaica has to take a different approach. You know, unless you got a barn that's completely covered like that, where you control it's controlled where, rain and all them things don't blow in and all that, then you can do it. Hence why I said the big players that are coming in needs to take an approach like that. They need to look at that model and try to do it. There was no smell. When we were there, you can see they were cleaning out stuff, so we had some smell, and I think he mentioned it. But other than that, there's no smell. When we were in the old barn, you didn't smell it. Because the straw soaks up everything. And from my experience at Cabo Ranch, like the poop for us that drops under the goat house, if it doesn't get disturbed, you don't smell it. If you don't go under there and disturb it, don't. So you only smell that when we're cleaning it out. So it's the same process, same concept. In Jamaica, we have to operate based on the resources we have. I know I've done a design for something similar to that based on what we have available in Jamaica that I think is doable with equipment, having access to clean that out. Yeah, he has those fans that Trudy call the big ass fans. It's actually the name of the company that makes those fans, right, Trudy? The company is called Big Ass Fans. Yeah. We have to think, as somebody said right here just now, we have to think outside the box. However, forget all of that. With conviction, with commitment, we can get there. We can do all that. My objective, and the reason I'm having this conversation is we're a small group here. Look, it's only 23 people watching this. I know a lot of people watch it after the fact, but these 23 people are here every week having this discussion with us, participating. These are the people that I care about sharing this information, sharing whatever I've learned, whatever my friends have learned, sharing with you guys. So as you go along about your business, about doing your thing on your farm, you take what works for you. And conversations like this kind of trigger your mind to say, yo, let me go watch some of these videos. Let me steal some ideas. Let me take some ideas, adjust them to what works for my environment. But the principles of how you get there, I think is what's important. As Lloyd said, to grow your herd, there's 5 things. Healthy animals that live a long life, high conception rate, low mortality, high killing percentage. He lays it out. You keep those things as your principle in your production, in your breeding, and the way your farm is set up, you will see success. I've talked over and over and over about record keeping. You can't do these things without record keeping. Yes, Kevin. The leftover grass can be placed to dry out and use it for that stuff. Mario says we need to get good hay supplies in Jamaica. Yes, we do. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'll just quickly say this. When I look at the hay that Lord was feeding his animals compared to what I have feeding my animals are eating straw, like dry grass, straw, whatever it is. Those guys are eating like it's amazing. You look at that hay, you're like, man, it's night and day. It's night and day. No, I ask myself, what are my animals getting out of the hay I feed them? I don't know. It's just a stopgap as far as I'm concerned. My pasture is better. Is there a reason alfalfa isn't growing here in Jamaica? I don't know. I asked the same question. I asked the same question. Is anybody? It's like we got Bodle's Research Center. We got Ebony. We got Case. We got all of them there. It's been talked about forever since I've entered goat business, starting doing the research. Alfalfa has always been in the conversation. How comes none of the research facilities in Jamaica can say yes or no when it comes to alfalfa working in Jamaica? If we're serious about this, why can't they tell us if it works or not? TJ say alfalfa is not a tropical crop. Alfalfa grows in southern Georgia. I know that for a fact. And southern Georgia is hot, hot in the summertime. It's not growing in the winter. So if somebody done the research and tell me that it doesn't work in Jamaica, then I'll accept it. I don't believe that anybody have actually done it. If it grow in the hot, it only grow in the summertime. So why it wouldn't grow in Jamaica? We went to Grass Hill. They're on the second cutting. This is the middle of summer. And trust me, Canada summer hot. Hot. Southern Ontario get all 4 seasons. Yeah. See, Howard says, Amisi grows it in Africa. Yeah, I saw his video where he said he was planting alfalfa. So I don't know. And the thing is that you, as a private farmer, can't just go buy alfalfa seed and bring it in Jamaica. You can't. The government talk about it. I remember my name, Floyd Green, came on this show and tell us it was one of these things on his agenda to partner with private sector and private farmers to grow hay and all that. That never come to fruition. So I think it's it's one of those things where it's gonna need Case or Bodles or Ebony or one of those research places, one of those schools, one of those research centers to really try it, see how it works, and then tell us that, yeah, this will work. Let's go. Get the government to say, yes, we're gonna import alfalfa seed. And at Grass Hill, it was a 70% alfalfa and 30% some other grass. It was a mix. It was definitely a mix seedling. TJ, whatever it is, TJ, whatever works in Jamaica, whatever will give us the similar nutritional value, the research centers need to come up with it, need to figure it out. It's not just even us looking at it as farmers and say, oh, yeah, we could do this. But then we have to figure out the red tape of getting it here, getting it to Jamaica. Gigi, I tell you guys already, I said it already. First of all, Jamaica don't have the land mass to compete when it comes to certain agricultural products. And I'm going to take back my talk. I remember driving in Middle America and driving for about 2 to 3 hours, and there was cornfields on both sides of the highway for the 2 to 3 hours. TJ live in America, I can tell you, whoever else live in America can tell you this for a fact. Where in Jamaica you can drive for 4 hours and see farmland? Anybody here? TJ, you're in America. Mario, I think you're in America. Tell me if I'm lying. Peter, you're in Canada. Tell me if I'm lying. I just drove 4 hours today. 4 hours straight. And half of that 4 hours was cornfield. So when I say Jamaica can't compete on the world stage when it comes to certain agricultural produce, it's not a joke. I am pretty sure there's farms in Middle America, Idaho, that maybe the half of the size of Jamaica that does potato. So how is Jamaica gonna compete with potato? Whatever potato them are planted is to feed Jamaicans and maybe make some specialized potato chips, some Scotch bonnet potato chips or something. You can't plant potato in Jamaica and expect to compete with America. That's right there. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, the whole strip coming from Detroit is just cornfield. So Jamaica has to make a decision on what are we going to focus on. Agricultural wise, what are we focusing on? What are we focusing on? They've already made their name with chicken. They already established themselves with an amazing product when it comes to chicken. KFC can attest to it. Jamaica KFC is worldwide recognized for the best chicken. So them have that. When it comes to ground produce, whether it's crops, Jamaica don't have the land mass. So what are we going to focus on? How are we going to use this land, this agricultural land? If you're talking about sustaining or even reinventing the amazing cattle industry Jamaica had, the world renowned cattle industry Jamaica had, then we got to focus on how we feed them. Forget about the potato. Use that land to produce hay or whatever it is to feed the amazing cattle industry that Jamaica had. Well, they don't have it anymore, but we used to be recognized worldwide for that. And it was value added because of the research that was done, the DNA work that was done. So I think personally, it's my opinion that some of that land, if you're going to talk about feed security for livestock, should be used accordingly. Drafton asks, can goats be imported within the Caribbean? Couldn't animals be imported from a satellite farm in Trinidad? A good point. However, it's all up to the VSD because the importation permit is based on the country that he can trust to go through all the different tests that's required. So I don't know if Trinidad will meet that criteria. It comes down to who can meet the criteria, all the testing and all of that. See, Trudy has a very smart comment right here. Vertical farming. We know that works. We do a lot of research in Accra, as you guys know, and we know certain models of small farming works. You know what I mean? Like one of the main problems I see in Jamaica when it comes to farming is the glut. Like some people go to the market and they'll see that carrot is expensive right now. So everybody go plant carrot. But then carrot becomes abundantly available and the price drop. Nobody's thinking that, okay, I'm going to focus on 4 or 5 cash crop and I'm going to make sure I can have them available year round or for the whole season or whatever it is. Everybody go plant melon when melon scarce. Everybody go plant callaloo when callaloo scarce. It's like there's no rhyme or reason. And I don't know whose job it is to let these people know what the approach should be. But vertical farming is an emerging business model that's doing amazingly well. And it works for the people who definitely execute it because they can supply restaurants, boutique hotels. You don't have to go after the big hotel. There's a lot of small hotels and restaurants that want fresh vegetables. And if you can come up with a business model that you can supply them with fresh vegetables all year round, and they get what is seasonal. If you know certain things don't grow over the winter time, but you know you have other crops that will grow, they will take that. You just have to establish a relationship with them, and they know they can get their fresh seasonal vegetables from you. Or, as Peter said, if the government is serious, you can just make a massive greenhouse and you can produce certain things all year round to meet the supply of hotels and all that. I don't even know how I drift and get to this, but that's what iGoat chat is. Wherever it leads us, we go, right? But yeah, the objective is for us as a collective is to figure out a way to make this thing viable. How do we make it? How do we think outside of the old school approach? How do we make this work for us? I can tell you from Cabron's perspective, we're in it for milk. We came in for milk. We were got detoured from advice and all that stuff. It's our fault. We took the advice, but however, we see it. You build out a customer base, consistency, consistently supply these people with what they need. Yeah, there truly says, yo, as much as the advice wasn't to us right now, wasn't what we needed, she says we learned a lot from it. So we can't really knock it. We can't, we can't question God's plan. Maybe God say, yo, you not have to learn 2 years of this and figure it out before you go and go take on bigger things. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to work. So can't really knock it. However, I was saying start with your core business. If you say you going to do meat, find 5 or 6 people that you're going to consistently supply them with meat. For us, it's milk. Our objective is start the milk program. Figure out how to consistently do it every day. The process, the sanitization, the storage, the delivery, everything. And that now will prepare us to scale up. Really and truly, for the milk, we only have one vendor, one customer. In reality, one paying customer. And they take everything we can produce. But we've developed a process and a schedule, and the farm is set up that now we milk every day at the same time, the same process. Everything is done the same way, no issues with the milk. So now we got that under our belt, we can scale it. We know we can scale it now. It's the same for every one of us. We've had the experience. We know exactly what we need to do. We know how it works. We know what not to do. We know what we should be doing. Our staff knows. We've never had an issue with our customer when it comes to our milk. It's the same for each and every one of us. If you're into meat, find a restaurant or whatever it is that you can say, okay, in order for me to supply them consistently with meat, this is what I need to do. You made a commitment for twice a month or once a month, you got to meet it. You have to do whatever you need to do to meet that. And then once you have that under your belt, the routine of doing that, then you can scale it, get another one, or supply them more frequently and build out from there. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be a family that has disposable income. It could be a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer that appreciate quality meat. And you go the extra step and say, yo, I'll drop it off at your office. Oh, I'll drop it off at your house. I'll do whatever. Yeah, Julie said the CSA model. Yeah. and you build out from there. You know what I'm saying? And if your meat is consistently good, quality meat, tender meat that not for cook for 3 hours, and it tastes good, they will tell their friend. And the service that you provide, where you can say, yo, I'll drop it off at your office, or I'll drop it off at your house Saturday morning, or son, whatever. They will tell their friend, say, yo, I got this guy or this lady that supply me with the goat meat. You want goat meat? This is a person. Next thing you know, you have 2 customers. Then they'll tell the next person. And remember, if you have a client that you supply goat meat to, they're going to have a party. Be prepared for the party, because they're going to come calling you, say, yo, I don't want 10 pounds of meat this time, I want 60. And you make sure you deliver it, because that's when your business about to blow. TJ wants to know what my milk yield per animal per day is. It's all over the place, to be honest, TJ, but sometimes we have animals that will give us 2 liter plus and 1.5 down to a quarter. Our gene pool is all over the place. So we've had as high as 2 liter, a little over 2 liter, to as low as a quarter. I think it's a quarter is where we cut them off. Where they start doing less than that, we take them out of the system. But we have it down where there's a sheet that every animal that's in the system is documented how much milk they produce that day. And that's how we take them out of the system. That's how we know when they need to get out of the system, if they're giving us less than a certain amount. But really and truly, we have to take as what we can get. So the bar is very low in who stays into the milk program. On Grass Hill Farm, it's 4 or 5 liters a day. They milk twice a day. See what I'm talking about? Four to 5 liters a day. They milk twice a day. And he has animals are milking for over 1,000 days straight. Think about the fact that you have 25, 50 animals that are milking, they're capable of milking for 1,000 days straight. Think about the consistency, the projections you can make on your business. If you know that you're getting X amount of milk for the year, you can't grow a business without projections. Yeah, he showed us a goat that was like a high producing goat, TJ. TJ said, you recall when he was at Grass Hill Farm, one animal from the Nadia family was giving 12 liters a day. Yeah, he showed us that goat, that one of the mothers from that family. That was, if you saw the video, he's talking with a mother with her head down. Yeah, she is one of the highest producing animals and one of the longest consistently. Kevin, I assume your question is if I give the mothers. So do you get, I think you're saying if I give the mothers more grain. Yes, our system is based on animals are fed based on their production stage, where they are in production. So the mothers in milking program get grain twice a day. They get the dairy ration twice a day, the same dairy ration that the dairy cattle gets. So it's one of those things where I'm sharing as much as I can share with you guys based on what I discover, research, based on our visits to these farms. And I'm hoping that if even 2 or 3 of us in this group take it seriously and say, look, I'm going to apply these things to my operation, then I know that we're making a difference. One cocoa full basket. We have to have realistic objectives, serious, realistic objectives, not the show goat business and the this and the that. Jamaica been doing show goat business forever. The new farmers that are coming in need to come with a different perspective, a different look, a different approach. The show goat business now get us nowhere. A real talk, it now get us nowhere. It just stagnate the sector. We have to start seeing real commerce from it. We have to start seeing where Jamaica is either, for one, showing that we have quality animals that we can export to the rest of the region. That's where the show goat thing come in, but it has to be done properly. It can't be just showing them at Denbigh and people decide on what to them look good and all that stuff. No, we're talking about based on real data, real research. And then we're talking about the other side of value added stuff. You know what I mean? And the meat. And even the meat, you can have value added stuff because the goat meat, Trudy has prepared some amazing goat meat dishes on the farm. You can have goat meat sausage, you can have goat meat, all kinds of different goat meat burger, like ground goat meat to make lasagna and them things. Like the list goes on and on. So even if you're a small meat producer, you can actually start making value-added goat meat products for your small customer base. People who have certain culinary experience or culinary, they like to experiment with their palate. Like, you know what I mean? They're willing to try goat meat sausage, goat meat burger, ground goat meat for them lasagna or them pasta. There are those people there, and they will pay premium price for that stuff because it's so rare. Not to mention the milk side. It's endless. How many different type of cheese, lotion, soap, the list goes on. But we have to get serious about having the quality animals to give us what we need to create these products. Yeah, truly, the egg roll was bashy still, was wicked. Nah, lie. me give you a thing for that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys give me 2 products or 3 products that you guys would definitely get into, value added products. Put it in the comments that you think as an operation you would add to your list. You would definitely want to put that on the market. If you're into goat meat, put a value added goat meat product you would definitely get into to sell to your customer base. If you're into milk, give me one. See, Marvin said fresh milk. I assume you mean fresh milk. Choice cut meat. Boom. Boom. Shot for that. That is a big deal. Choice cut meat. Because on the farm, we'll put the whole rump on a grill. We've done start treating it like how they treat lamb. There you go. Premium cuts, chopped steak, sausages. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many different value-added products. As a small operation, you don't have to get into the big, massive volume. You can actually create your own little niche and start building out from there. Marvin says rather not kill. I don't know what that means. I guess you'd rather sell genetics, sell breeding stock. Is that what you're saying, Marvin? Marvin so Marvin's saying, Marvin, tell me if you'd rather sell breeding stock. You'd rather not get into processing. The milk, you don't have to kill no goat to do milk. There you go. Just milk. Yeah. So if you just want to do milk, there's so many value-added products for milk. The list is like a long list of things. I told you guys about this company in the US called Goat Milk Stuff. Guys, look them up. Them sell lip balm, them sell everything from goat milk. It's amazing. So to wrap this up, circle right back to Grasshill Farm. So much to Marvin says coming up with us. That's good. We need as many people in the sector doing that. Volume means a lot. Back to Grasshill Farm, there's so much to take away from that conversation that I implore you guys to go watch the video to get a full scope of it and understand, really taking it in, really take in the information, really understand what this gentleman is talking about, how passionate it is about improving the genetic pool of his herd and overall, and what he's passionate about, spreading the love, selling animals all over the world. You know what I mean? Charlton says, if I'm looking into embryo transplant to obtain better genetics on your farm, I'll look into anything that improves it, but I would like to make sure we're getting a good success rate. Embryo transfer is very risky and way more expensive at this time. So more likely, we would definitely go with AI, but the laparoscopic procedure and not the cervical. Connor says looking at a meat shop. There you go. And with a meat shop mean you're gonna give the people them some quality cuts, choice cuts, some amazing cuts, and options of different things, soup, bone, and managed water, kit, and all them things. You know what I mean? You have to bring value. You have to bring value to your customer base if you want to succeed at this stuff. You gotta add value. You have to make people feel like what they're getting from you is head and shoulders above the rest, whether it's in service or the product or both. Any other questions or anything you want me to hit on before we get out of here? Any other comments? Any questions? Anything you guys want me to touch on in the coming weeks? Let me know. Send me a message, and I will definitely dig into it and do a whole show on whatever topic you guys want me to get into. Oh, Trudy says, oh yes, next weekend there'll be no iGoat chat because of a family function. Thanks for reminding me, Trudy. Can't get out of that one, or else I won't hear the end of it. So there will be no iGoat chat next week. It's a good thing I pushed myself to come this week. So I will definitely see you guys the following week, and you guys can send me messages if you guys have any ideas that you think we can talk about on the show. It's welcome. I will dig into it and do my best to present it to your liking. Judy, Peter want to know when my invitation to the family function. I'll leave that up to you guys. So with further ado, I'll just say good night and thank you guys for participating. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks, and you guys stay safe. And for the people who haven't watched the video, go watch the video, all three of them, to get the full scope of what we're talking about tonight. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of the week.